Hey guys, Troubletcat here, recording for the Zombie Arcade, playing some Bad Company 2 today, and talking a little bit about the differences between Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3, comparing and contrasting the two, if you will, because lately I've been feeling a lot like playing some Bad Company 2, which seems kind of odd, but with Battlefield 3, the new hotness, sitting right there. But I started thinking about why that is, and I think it comes down to overall, I think I actually had a bit more fun with Bad Company 2 than I've been having with Battlefield 3, at least lately, and I've been thinking a lot about why, and I thought I'd play some BC2. This was a pretty solid game for me. I went 17-3 or something, and we ended up winning, which is pretty dope. But anyway, I've been thinking about why, and I thought I'd make a video with some Bad Company 2 gameplay, where I sort of compared the games and talked a little bit about why that was. And so, here we are. Let me start off by saying that overall, Battlefield 3 is probably the better game in a lot of ways. Movement feels a lot better to me. The graphics are technically improved. I like the weapon handling more. The customization in BF3 is awesome. And there's lots of little features like the ability to switch to your knife and grenades and an actual health meter that I really like about it, although sadly they're only hints of a more old-school PC-styled shooter, which wasn't really what we got. I mean, it does kind of have that sort of more new style, fast-paced console kind of feel to it. But despite all those things that I do like about BF3, there are also a lot of things that Bad Company 2 did better, or I don't know, maybe it's more accurate just to say that I prefer about Bad Company 2 over BF3, because some of them are just a matter of preference. Like, for example, I like the graphical style in Bad Company 2 a lot more than Battlefield 3's. Battlefield 3 looks much more impressive in a lot of ways, but I also get really tired of looking at it. It's got sort of all those dull, muted colors, the blue tint on almost every map, too many effects like lens flare and stuff like that that just blinds you and makes the game a pain in the ass to play. I mean, Bad Company 2 had, like, dust everywhere that could make it hard to see, and Battlefield 3's got that on maps, and then also this, like, absurd lens flare, tack lights, fucking laser sights, just things flashing around like crazy, blinding you, and it annoys me a little bit. I liked that in Bad Company 2, your health didn't regenerate fully. You regenerate to like 50% health, and then you need a med kit. And it takes a bit longer to kill people in Bad Company 2, both of which I think make Bad Company 2 a bit more of a competitive game, like a bit better from a competitive standpoint, and for me, definitely make Bad Company 2 a little bit more fun. This game's netcode is another thing. Like, I know I'm just sort of going down the list, but there's sort of a lot of things that I really feel like this game nailed a lot better. So another thing is the netcode in this game. In Battlefield 3, I made a video a while ago, my issues with the game, where I talked about some of my problems with Battlefield 3, and one of the biggest ones was that the netcode makes the game feel really sort of inconsistent. You get shot around corners, sometimes it seems like weapons that shouldn't kill you in one hit, kill you in one hit. It just makes the game feel bad, and Bad Company 2's netcode is far from perfect, but I do actually think it's a lot better than BF3's. You don't really get shot around corners or stuff like that in this game. The user interface in Bad Company 2 is a lot better, a hell of a lot better, in fact. Just kind of weird because Bad Company is sort of the console strain of the Battlefield series in theory, but this game has a much better PC user interface than BF3 did, especially when you get with stuff like the spawn screens and stuff like that. It's a lot less quick, it's a lot easier to use, much more convenient. I think the class setup in Bad Company 2 is a bit more balanced than in Battlefield 3, because in Battlefield 3, the medic and the engineer get way more frickin' points than the other class, but in this game, the assault kit has the ammo drop, not the defib, so you don't get so many points from heals and stuff, as well as having one of the best, most sort of well-rounded attacking weapons. And then you've got on the medic kit with the LMGs, you have the med kits, and then the engineers, instead of having carbines, have submachine guns, basically. I mean, some of them are carbines, but a lot of it's submachine guns, and they all sort of handle like submachine guns, and that has the effect of both the engineer's primary weapon is not that great, and it also makes the engineer kit feel more distinct from assault, whereas in BF3 they feel pretty similar because the carbines and rifles obviously handle a lot alike, not exactly the same, but the kits do feel pretty distinct. So and obviously Recon has a lot better gadgets in this with the motion mines and the mortar strikes and the C4, and well, just any class can get C4. It lets Recon be a lot more offensive. I think the class setup, the way the classes are set up with their gadgets and stuff and weapons, is a lot better in BC2 than BF3 overall. Just seems a lot more evenly balanced. So, I mean, BF3 is a great game, as I said, And there are a lot of things that it has over BC2 that I talked about briefly at the beginning there. But Bad Company 2 also did a lot of things better than BF3, I think. Or, as I said, I mean, maybe it's just the way I prefer things is Bad Company 2 way for a lot of things. Funnily enough, I was sort of thinking about this, and I thought, you know, there's this big portion of the Battlefield 3 community that's really mad about Battlefield 3, but a lot of them say, like, oh, I didn't play Bad Company 2 because, like, Bad Company was the stupid fucking dumbed-down console port Battlefield version that was designed for consoles and was fucking gay as AIDS. But I kind of think that a lot of those guys probably would have actually preferred Bad Company 2 over Battlefield 3, because I think Bad Company 2, when it comes down to it, this game feels closer to the classic Battlefield games than BF3 does. The older Battlefields were never sort of super serious, grim, dark games like BF3 is. They had color and stuff. I mean, they weren't like... It wasn't like super lighthearted, but they weren't terribly serious. They didn't have to have all those fucking filters and stuff to make it feel super grim. They never had the super short time to kill that Battlefield 3, and I just think the overall feel of BC2 is closer. Like, I prefer, as I said, I prefer the way the weapons feel and the movement feels in BF3 to in Bad Company 2. It's one of the things I prefer about BF3. But I think Bad Company 2, the movement and the weapons handling, feels closer to the older Battlefield games than it does in Battlefield 3. So, Battlefield 3 is a really good game, but I hope a few things, I guess. I hope that the patches and DLC will improve the overall feel of Battlefield 3 a bit. Like, if they fixed up the netcode, that'd help a lot. If some of the new maps had some more color, although I don't think we're gonna get that in close quarters. If they added an option to turn off the fucking blue tint, I actually think I'd have a lot more fun with BF3 than I do now, just because I wouldn't get so sad when I see the fucking, like, muted color scheme and everything. So I mean, I hope the DLC and the patches that come out help BF3 to reach its sort of true potential, because, I mean, that's sort of how I'd describe it in a way. It has a lot of potential with the great engine and a lot of the enhancements they made. And I also hope, but I don't know how much they can do with the patches and DLC, because in some ways they have to change some really basic stuff about the game, like the color grading, like, you know, maybe increasing the time to kill a little bit. Fixing the netcode is a really fundamental thing to be fucking around with. And so, like, stuff like that is probably not going to change in BF3's lifetime. But what I'm sort of hoping is that with the next Battlefield title, they sort of look at BF3 and the advances that were made there, and that they also take into account the big negative community reaction to the different feel of the game. Because I think that reaction is kind of justified. I mean, I think people go a bit overboard. I think overall BF3 is a good game. I like it. It's worth playing, and people get a little bit too mad as hell, I think. But there really is, I think there is sort of a valid argument to make that BF3 is missing a lot of things that previous Battlefield games had, and that they changed the feel more than maybe people actually wanted. So, I mean, it seems a little bit early. It's kind of weird, because I'm sort of saying, I hope the next Battlefield, they really realize the potential of the engine and, like, use their advances and incorporate the shits and stuff. And it seems a little bit early, maybe, to be talking about the next Battlefield game already, but, well, BF3 is a really solid game, and I'm definitely going to keep playing it. I'm going to be buying all the DLC. I'm going to be doing my Meet the Weapon bids and all that cool stuff. I feel like Battlefield 3 is not quite everything it could have been. And that's a little sad. They've got this amazing engine. They've got this like much more fluid feel of movement, and they've got sort of better weapon handling, all this customization, pretty solid maps in my opinion. Some people don't like them, but I quite like the maps in BF3. And they've just got all these other problems as well, though, that make the game not as fun to play as it could be. And so that to me, although BF3, as I said at the start of the video, is probably overall the better game because of those advancements, I think I really do have more fun with Bad Company 2. Not to say I don't have fun with BF3, because I do. It's a fun game, and I do enjoy a lot of the time I play it, but I also have a lot more time playing BF3 when I'm frustrated or when I'm just not enjoying myself very much compared to Bad Company 2, where I pretty much always had fun whenever I sat down to play Bad Company 2. I don't know if it's like the bright colors or the fact that you don't die in a second, or the fact that the hit detection is a lot better than BF3's, but there's just something about this game that I find more fun. So this is the end of this game / video, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What's your what do you think comparing Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3? What are your hopes for future Battlefield titles and Battlefield 3 DLC? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, Troubletcat out.